Hey, shut up.
Alright, so I was sitting at home and I was surfing through the web and suddenly something caught my eye. It was an article about a game made by PETA about Super Mario. And being the pathetic nerd I am, it really caught my attention. So for those of you that don't know, PETA stands for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. And they're known for very outrageous advertisements such as comparing poultry farming to the Holocaust, things like that. And so this is one of those advertisements to gain attention. And I kind of laughed it off, but I saw other articles that took offense to this, and they revealed a lot of information, some of the darker elements of PETA that really startled me, and I felt I needed to work on, to tell you about this. So today I want to explain to you why PETA is a dangerous organization and does more harm than good, and also why you should not support them. Now, to be specific, I want to explain to you some of their policies on pets, their records on euthanasia for animals, their connections with the Animal Liberation Front, and what you can do about all of this. Now, this is a touchy subject. I want to add a disclaimer. I am not an animal activist. I never was. And just because of that, it shouldn't discredit what I am going to say, because the truth is truth and facts are facts. And also understand, I am not here to discredit the animal rights movement. That's not what I'm trying to do here. Now, with that said, let's move on to some of the things that PETA is responsible for. Now, there are lots of PETA supporters that have pets. I'm sure many of you have pets. And the problem is, PETA is for the total and complete liberation of animals, and that means a no pet policy. They believe your cat and your dog should not exist. And to them, we shouldn't even be using seeing eye dogs. Now, that's a pretty audacious statement. I mean, they're very important, the seeing eye dogs. And besides, I'm sure you all love your pets. They have the right to live. And this leads me to something else that really startled me and disturbed me, is their stance on euthanasia. Now, they kind of downplay this, but then for probably good reasons. Dana Chivas from AOL News in an article wrote, in 2009, they killed 97% of all the animals that were brought into them, all the dogs and cats. Now compare this to the Norfolk City Pound, which only euthanized 54.7%. In another article from the Daily Beast by Janine Interlandi, since 1999, PETA has killed more than 17,000 animals. That is a very big number, but that's not even the worst thing about them, in my opinion. And this is regarding their stance on the Animal Liberation Front, which is an animal rights extremist organization, and basically they are responsible for many crimes, such as arson, destruction, theft, and kidnapping. They are considered by the FBI as a domestic terrorist threat. And in the FBI website, they say, together, eco-terrorists and animal rights extremists are one of the most serious domestic terrorism threats in the USA today. And some instances where this is true, where they say this, some of the reasons why they say this, back in 1999, they kidnapped an investigative reporter named Graham Hall, and they branded the letters ALF on his back, and they threatened them with death, saying they'll kill him if he reports them to the police. And if that's not recent enough, in 2006, they attempted to bomb a UCLA researcher's home with an incendiary device, which had the potential to cause fatalities. But the bomb did not go off, thankfully. It failed to go off. And this is some startling things that they've done. And PETA, they compare them to the Underground Railroad. So I mean, this is a clear. It's insane. They clearly support the ALF, and you know, with all that said, it's clear that they are a danger to human lives. So what can be done about this? I mean, it's important to know that PETA is a very popular organization, receives a lot of celebrity endorsements. In 2004, they received $29 million in donations. You know, it seems like, what can we do? But I think it begins with us by spreading the word of information like this regarding PETA, telling other people, and let them to make informed decisions regarding, you know, if they're animal rights activists and if they want to support things like that, then well, that's their decision to make. But it's our job to tell them, and I don't think a lot of people want to support things like that. But if you do not, but you do support animal rights, there are organizations you can support, such as the San Francisco SPCA, the Delta Rescue, or the North Shore Animal League. And that brings me to my conclusion. You know, their policies on euthanasia and their stance on the ALF, it's clear that they are a danger to lives, animals, and humans, and they are dangerous. But we can raise awareness to stop people from supporting them. Thank you. The Animal Liberation Act.
Shane, you over there? No, of course not. That would just make things work too easily. Okay, hang on a second. Yeah. No. All right, Luke, I really like the opening, the story about coming across the video game and, you know, the connection with PETA and how you heard about it, and then your discovery about their attitudes and your motivation for talking about this. I also thought you did an interesting job trying to make yourself appear like you were looking at this from a dispassionate point of view as opposed to somebody with an axe to grind one way or the other. I thought that was probably a good setup. I do think that you want to make sure that you give us the attribution and the sources for a couple of things. You say, according to PETA's own point of view, that owning animals or pets is wrong and that they shouldn't exist. I understand what you were saying, but let's make sure that we know what the basis of that claim is. If they've got a charter that says that and it's on their website, then all you have to do is point to this part of the charter that says pet ownership is the equivalent of slavery, or you know, that people